Go, Knights, go! 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 Hello, Knight fans, and welcome to another week of Knights This Week. Here on Knights This Week, we are going to cap up 3 games again, as our tradition usually is on this show. And we are coming down to the end of the regular season, folks. It is near, it is upon us. It is happening as we speak, actually. So, Knights This Week is on the air with your host and superfan, Jason Banks, coming at you. And hello, Knight fans, and welcome to the show. Alright, Knight fans, hi. There we go. Welcome to another edition of Knights This Week. And on Knights This Week, we got games, 2 games against Erie. Those are going to be fun games, and a game against Guelph in the middle that we're going to look at as we come down the stretch for the playoff run here, which who knows how long it's going to be this year, but the playoffs are very near us. I just want to mention Happy St. Patrick's Day to you as well. We had St. Patrick's Day yesterday, so I am obviously dressed in green. So I hope that you like my St. Patrick's Day gear. Hope everybody was responsible out there yesterday. And as you can see on my hat, it says, "Kiss me, I'm Irish." So, there you go. A big kiss for all those people who are Irish. Okay. And let's get to my shirt first. And I got this on timed this week. I am really going to try to shorten Nights this week because I realize it's been a bit long lately. So let's try to shorten it down if we can. This is the shirt of the week I'm wearing this week. Yes, I have all these shirts in my collection. And this is another House of Green shirt. So I have like 3 of the House of Green shirts that they have for the playoffs. This is the very first ever House of Green shirt. The very first ever one they made. The first concept. Like, this is when it was first born. And this was in 2005 when they won everything that year. So that is the House of Green shirt for you. It says right on it, "Welcome to the House of Green." Got the London Knight logo. And a marker, I put 2005 OHL champs. Then over here, I put 2005 Memorial Cup champs because they won it all that year. Awesome year that was. 2005. So have a drink for the 2005 OHL team because they were something else, that team. No doubt. The only team... I love how a scout ranked the London Knights that year. The scout said the only team that is going to beat the London Knights this year will be the London Knights. And they didn't get beat very often that year. A terrific year for the London Knights. Alright, so that's my shirt of the week. I'm wearing a special green hat for St. Patrick's Day. So let's get to the show, shall we? Let's find out what happened on Knights this week. So we're going to go back a week ago Friday to Budweiser Gardens, and the Knights have not had many games at Budweiser Gardens lately. Their second half of their season has just been laden with road games, tons of road games. But last Friday night they did play here in front of the Knights faithful at Budweiser Gardens, and we're going to go to this now. Yes. It was hockey night in London again, as the London Knights were back at Budweiser Gardens, and a very, very important game at the time, taking on the Erie Otters. Yes, the Erie Otters in town to face off with the London Knights. And the London Knights definitely were within striking distance of the Erie Otters for first overall. 4 points behind them coming into play in this game. And a win, obviously, in regulation would make that deficit 2 points. A loss, well, a loss would not be very good. Let's see what happens in this one. And I brought this up before when we played them. Let's go to these guys again. Let's see what the Otters did. Let's hear from you, Otters. What do you think of London, Otters? Yeah? You think that you could beat us? You think you could come into our own barn and beat us at Budweiser Gardens? Well, let's find out what happened in this one, folks. And let's see if the Otters can back up those words or not. So let's go to the Otters in London here at... Okay. Be quiet, Otters. Alright, we shut the Otters up temporarily. Alright, let's go to this game now. And here at Budweiser Gardens, let's see what happens in this one. And last time these two teams met at Budweiser Gardens, you might be aware that the Erie Otters came away with a 5-3 victory. Went right down to the last, went right down to the wire. Erie actually got the game tying goal very late in the third with less than a minute left. They got the game-winning goal, and they added an empty net on. But in that game, despite the closeness of it, it was Parsons who really kept it that close. Let's go to this one. All right, no time and not wasting. Let's go to this. And just like the last game at Budweiser Gardens, the Knights got off to a very good start in this one because the Knights got the first 2 goals at Budweiser Gardens when they played here before. And then this one, they get the first goal of the game. So that's a good start for your London Knights. As Cliff Pugh, the sophomore forward, having an outstanding season in all respects. He got his 35th goal of the season from Robert Thomas and Ole Jalevi on the power play at 6:25 of the first. And that was the only goal of the first period. After one, London Knights leading the Erie Otters 1-0. The shots on net in the first period read 15-7 in favor of the London Knights. So a very good first period for the London Knights. And with 15 shots on net, you could argue that it deserved more than a 1-0 lead at the end of one in this one. So 1-0 after one for the London Knights. However, unfortunately, it all goes downhill after that, because in the second period, the Erie Otters at 8:59 would tie it when Taylor Radish, who is having an outstanding season on his own, his 39th goal of the season, got the Otters on the board. Dylan Strome, Darren Radish on the power play got the assist to tie it up at 1. And then at 11:31 of the second, Warren Fogle, who was picked up at the trade deadline from the Kingston Frontenacs, and wow, he's a very good player and he's fitting in the Erie very well. Warren Fogle got his 25th goal of the season from Ivan Lodnia and Dylan Strome at 11:31 to make it 2-1 Otters. And then before the second period was up, at 13:58, so these goals came fast and furious. 8:59, 11:31, 13:58. All of these goals by the Erie Otters. Owen Hedrick got only his 4th goal of the season at 13:58 from Kyle Maskenpoch and Ivan Lodnia at 13:58 of the second, and it was 3-1 Otters at that point. So it was 3-1 after 2 for the Erie Otters. The shots on net in the second were quite different from the shots on net in the first, because the shots on net in the second favored the Erie Otters 15-7. So 15-7 in the first for London, 15-7 in the second for Erie. Even shots, but 3-1 lead for the Otters. And we go to the third, where, as has been the case many times this year, London forgets to play the complete 60, and in the third period, London could not do anything. They could not get the puck out of their own end. They could not get any offense generated. Erie just kept them hemmed in their end most of the period. 12 shots to 3 in favor of Erie, and Erie did get the 1 goal in that period. It was a late goal, mind you, but Erie got the goal at 19:34 when Alex DeBrincat. Yeah, Alex DeBrincat. Have we heard of this guy before? I think we've heard from this guy before. his 62nd goal of the season. 62nd, folks. He is an outstanding, talented player. He scored on the empty net at 1934, which actually tied him for an OHL record at that point, an OHL record for goal scoring streak, which I believe was 19. So 19 straight games with a goal for DeBrincat, which tied an OHL record that's been set in record for quite some time. And that was all she wrote in this one, folks, as the Erie Otters take out the London Knights 4-1. So the London Knights drop a very kind of devastating game because it puts them 6 points out of first with very few games left. So first place is not going to be going to the London Knights this year. Let's go to the 3 stars of this one. Warren Fogle, the 3rd star from the Erie Otters. As I mentioned, he's been a great pickup by the Otters, and he did get the 1 goal. Did he get anything else? No, just got the 1 goal, but he played a very good game for the Otters. 2nd star came from your London Knights, and he is probably the best defenseman, in my opinion, on that team, Victor Mete. He played a very good game. He was the 2nd star at the game, so congrats, Victor, on being the 2nd star. And the 1st star came from the Erie Otters, the goaltender, Troy Timpano, who many fans argued was a difference maker in this one, especially in that first period. He made some good saves in the first to keep that from getting to be a 2-0, 3-0 game for London, perhaps. Troy Timpano, the goalie from the Erie Otters, the 1st star. As Erie outshot the Knights 34-25 on the night, Erie has now won 4 straight games over the Memorial Cup champions this season, and most of these games they've looked pretty good. They limit London to 25 shots. London, I think, was limited to 22-21 in Erie the last time. So very few shots for the London Knights, and it's hard to win games when you don't get the shots. All right, let's move on, shall we? Next game, let's go to that. London Knights tangling for the final time this year with the Guelph Storm. This was a Sunday afternoon game in Guelph. So let's go to this one. And we can tell you in this one, London Knights had a solid game again over the Guelph Storm. They have really managed this team very well this year, especially in the last 3 games. Games have been kind of lopsided for London. This one not quite as bad, lopsided in London's favor, but still London comes out with a 6-2 victory over the Guelph Storm in Guelph on a Sunday afternoon. And let's go see what happened in this one. And we'll go down, take you through the scoring summary. The Knights got on the board early, and they never looked back on this night when they got on the board. Yanni Kalkinen got his 24th goal of the season from Adrian Carbonera and Evan Bouchard at 6:27 at the first. 1-0 for your London Knights. And then at 10:26 of the first, Sam Miletich, who I might say he is the most improved player definitely on the Knights this year. You can make a case for the league perhaps, but definitely on the Knights. This is a guy that I think scored 5 or 4 goals last year, left in February or something, left the team in February for personal reasons. Came back this year, and what a contributor he has been. He got his 34th goal of the season from Victor Mete and J.J. Pikanich at 10:26 of the first. It was 2-0 at that point. Then the Guelph Storm got on the board at 13:45 of the first. Nate Snar got his 17th goal of the season from Isaac Ratcliffe and Liam Stevens. So it was 2-1 at the end of one period of play for the Memorial Cup champions. The shots on net in that period, let's see, the shots on net were 13-6 London, so definitely a very well-dominated first by the London Knights. Go on to the second now. 2-1 Knights going into the second at 5:54 of the second. Brandon Crawley, the defenseman who likes to jump up into the player. And he's a pretty good defenseman, too. I'd say he plays defense very good, too. Brandon Crawley got his 7th goal of the season from veteran and overager Owen McDonald at 5:54 of the second. It made it 3-1 at that point for the London Knights. And then you're going to see a couple of guys get out of horrible slumps in this game. And the Nets, and the first guy that we're going to see do that, scores Nets, Dante Salaturo. He did very good when he came to London in the trade deadline, but he has been very silent in about the last 6-7 games. Finally gets a goal. He has hit crossbars, he's hit goalposts, he's been just snake bitten. But he gets a goal finally, his 10th of the season, from Cliff Pugh and Robert Thomas. Power play goal at 8:54 of the second, 4-1 Knights at that point. Before the second was over, the London Knights would get another one from a guy who was a very good pickup. When they first got him, we thought, hey, what's the point of this pickup? But he's a tough, gritty guy, and he gets the goals too. Adrian Carbonera, his 11th goal of the season from Robert Thomas, 17:40. And then Mitchell Vandersopel. He has been in a really bad slump as of lately too. Had a horrible time trying to find goals. But they used Mitchell Vandersopel up front in this game rather than on defense. Interesting Dale Hunter move. But it pays off because he gets his 20th goal of the season at 9:28 of the third. Dante Salaturo got an assist. And then Guelph would get a goal in the third as well. It was 6-1 before Giovanni Smith got his 26th goal from Isaac Ratcliffe and Garrett McFadden at 12:06. So it was 6-2 final. The London Knights over the Guelph Storm on this Sunday afternoon. Let's see what else I have to do here. Shots on net. 38-32 in total for the London Knights over the Guelph Storm. And the 3 stars of the game were Isaac Ratcliffe from the Guelph Storm. Robert Thomas gets the 2nd star from the London Knights. Robert Thomas had 2 assists on the day, so he did very good for himself. And Adrian Carbonera was the 1st star of this game. We mentioned the goal that he got, but he had an assist, and he just played a very solid 2-way game for the London Knights. So those were your 3 stars from this game. So the London Knights get back on the win column after a disappointing loss on home ice to the Erie Otters. So Nuts now go to a midweek game. This was a Tuesday night game. And the London Knights getting a rematch with the Erie Otters in Erie. So we're going to play Erie for the last time now this season. I should mention the Guelph series. London swept all 6 games against Guelph this year, so a perfect 6-0 against Guelph, a perfect 6-0 against Kitchener as well. So that's pretty good there. 12-0 against those 2 teams. The other teams, not so good. They are currently 1-4 against Erie going into this game in Erie. 2-4 against Owen Sound. So those aren't good numbers against the other divisional teams. All right, let's go into Erie, shall we? And once again, gonna hear from the Erie Otters. We're on their home ice. What is this? Are the Erie Otters trying to kiss us? No, we don't need kisses from you, Erie Otters. We want to beat ya. We want to get above ya. But the chances of us getting above Erie at this point in the season for first, probably not very likely. But still, a very good, need a character win here over the Otters. Yes, we hear you, Otters. Now, let's see how we play against you. All right, let's go to this one, folks, shall we? The Erie Otters and the London Knights at the Erie Insurance Arena in Erie. Tyler Parsons getting the start in net for your London Knights. Troy Tampano getting the start for the Erie Otters. The two #1 goaltenders, not much of a surprise. So let's go to this one, shall we? Find out what happens. And first goal did not go to London. I will tell you, the first goal goes to the Erie Otters. Alex DeBrincat at 9 minutes of the first, his 63rd goal of the season. 63, folks. He is, you really got to shadow this guy and try to limit him. But he got his 63rd goal of the season from Dylan Strome and Taylor Radish. 9 minutes to make it 1-0. Just like in London, 1-0 score after one period of play, but this time for the Erie Otters. Shots on net in the first period favored Erie by a considerable margin, 12-6, but only 1-0 for the Otters. Let's pick this game up in the second now. Let's see what happens here. In the second period, the London Knights would tie it very early on. Jani Kaukonen got his 25th goal of the season from Evan Bouchard, and Dante Salaturo, 2:15 at the second. 1-1 game at that point. So nice bounce back early on in the second by the London Knights to tie the game. And then it was only it was like 55 seconds later, the London Knights would go ahead. Sam Miletich. You're having a great season, kid. You deserve a round of applause. Got his 35th goal of the season from J.J. Pickenage at 3:10. 2-1 London Knights at that point. It was 2-1 London Knights after 2 periods of play, and a very tough rink to win in Erie. Shots on net in the second, again, favored Erie by a considerable margin, 14-7. So 12-6 in the first, 14-7 in the second for Erie, but a 2-1 lead for the London Knights. And as I said, this is a tough building to win in. Only one team has managed to beat the Erie Otters in Erie in regulation this season, and not a team you would expect that would have beaten them, and that's the Sarnia Sting. Let's see, can the London Knights become the second team all season long to win a regulation game in Erie? Well, very early goal in the third period, just like the second, but this time from the Erie Otters, and Anthony Sorelli, another solid trade pickup by the Otters, got his 24th goal of the season from Roran Fogel, and Kyle Maskovich at 3 minutes of the third. Ties it up at that point at 2. And just like the second, we get another early goal after that. And this time, the London Knights got it. 4:21 of the third, Sam Miletich got his 36th goal of the season from Robert Thomas and J.J. Pickenage, the captain. So the captain having a great night, Sam Miletich having a great night. 4:21 of the third, Sam Miletich puts the Knights back ahead. And Sam Miletich put the Knights back ahead for good, as that goal stood up for the winning goal. As yes, the London Knights beat the Erie Otters in Erie to keep their slim hopes of first place overall still alive, but more importantly, trying to finish third in that conference. Trying to get ahead of those hot Owen Sound Attack, who are ahead of us by a point. Tyler Parsons. What can you say about Tyler Parsons? This is why you can win in the playoffs, because Tyler Parsons is capable of winning a playoff series on his own, because he pretty much won this game on his own. 43 Erie shots that he faced, he stopped 41 of them. London Knights outshot by a very bad ratio, 43-22, but they escape with a 3-2 victory in Erie, Pennsylvania. So, wow. Tyler Parsons, yeah. We love you, Tyler Parsons, and that's why the London Knights made the trades they did with him and net. Anthony Sorelli, the third star from the Erie Otters in this one. He got one goal. And trying to see if he got anything else. He got the one goal, but he played a good game for the Otters. Sam Miletich an outstanding game for the London Knights. He got 2 of the 3 goals, so he was the second star. And the first star from your London Knights, number 1, Tyler Parsons. Yes, folks, he had a great game in net for the London Knights. Pretty much the sole reason why they won this game, as they steal a game in Erie to keep their hopes of third place in the conference alive, and slight hopes of first alive in this one. So that was the Knights games in Knights this week. So the Knights are coming into the final regular season game of their season, and they still need a little help. If they're going to finish ahead of Owen Sound, they need one of 2 teams to knock off Owen Sound in regulation. The Knights need to win all their games this weekend if they want to finish third. Third place would get them a matchup with the Kitchener Rangers first round, which, considering they've won 13 straight against Kitchener, I'd say that's a pretty favorable matchup for your London Knights. Alright, let's give you, I'm going to try to get this in 30 minutes, folks. Let's give you the updated standings now, shall we? And see where everybody is. So this is play coming into this weekend, and here is the record. So the London Knights now are 44, 14, 3, and 4. So they got 95 points. They got a shot to get 100 if they win all their games this coming weekend. So that's a pretty good record, I'd say. They're now a full 30 games above 500, so that's pretty good. But there's 3 other pretty good teams in this conference, and let's not count out quite yet the Memorial Cup hosts, who could be, they're definitely an underdog in the first round, but don't underestimate those Windsor Spitfires. Let's take a look at the standings now, shall we? Where the Knights are. And here they are, coming into play this weekend. The Erie Otters with 99 points, 2 games to go. They're up by just 1 point on the Owen Sound Attack. Do you see the Owen Sound Attack there, OS? 98 points, folks. 98. And if you had told me the Owen Sound Attack would be 1 point out of first overall, coming into the last play of the weekend at the beginning of the season, I would have told you were nuts. But they have just had a very solid season, consistent, steady, and they got depth. They are a scary team, folks, and they are definitely a contender for sure. The fact is, they've only lost 2 regulation games in about 36 games now. So you got to be leery of these guys. 1 point out of first coming into play this weekend. The Sioux Greyhounds now are locked into that second spot, it would appear, with 96 points. They got 2 left, one of them on Sunday afternoon this weekend against the London Knights. And here are the London Knights with 95 points with 3 left. So the London Knights definitely could get over 100 points. They definitely have a shot at it. They have a shot to finish ahead of Owen Sound, but they need some help. And here's Windsor. They will be 5th place. They have clinched that already with 88 points. So if the London Knights were to finish 4th, which it appears like they might, they are going to get the Windsor Spitfires first round of the playoffs. Wow. But definitely a winnable round, I think, because Windsor's had some problems all season long. And the London Knights have had some issues too. But they got that experience, which I kind of like in a series with Windsor, I would think. So there's your updated OHL standings. Very, very close, as you can see. Not much point difference between those top 4 teams. And, you know, it can be said that it's very rare for a team out of the 4th spot, out of the 4th seed, to get to the OHL final. But when you have Parsons, when you have the experience the Knights have, and when it's just that close as it is, It's possible. It's definitely possible. So there's the standings. Let's give you the CHL rankings now, and you're going to love this, folks. The CHL rankings still haven't changed much, but you're going to love just where these teams are in the CHL rankings, because they are right. They're right in the middle of the pack. The St. John Sea Dogs out in the Quebec League still have the number 1 ranking. Regina now has the number 2 ranking in the country. They've moved up 1 from last week. And here's your next 4, folks, in the CHL top 10. 3, Erie. 4, London Knights. 5, Sault Ste. Marie. 6, Owen Sound. So there you go, folks. The middle of the pack is all teams from the Western Conference where the Knights play. So it's just been an incredible conference this year. It's going to be a fun last weekend. We're going to see where these teams finish and who plays who in the first round very soon. All right. Promised to make this shorter, and I've somewhat done that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do what I always do at the end of nights this week. And that is, just give me a second. I didn't get this queued up, but I will in just a second. Okay. So here we go. I am going to do like I always do at the end of every show, and that is this. I'm going to do the Knights dance as we end Nights this week. So thank you for watching Nights this week. And I can tell you that I will be possibly making a special edition of Nights this week in the next week or so. Because I would like to do a Nights this week where I give you my playoff predictions. So look for that one. But I'm also going to be doing the last week of the regular season too. So could be a couple coming at you very soon. So thank you for watching my video. And like I do at the end of every show, I'm going to do the Knights dance. So go Knights go. Thank you for watching. Have a good week. Come back next week. Go Knights go, and we'll see you next time on Nights This Week.